retain the same features and other signs of their belonging to the people of Israel, then I doubt if anybody has a reason to doubt. Anybody can reasonably doubt this. Right? So, Jesus must be found wherever the earlier Israelites had moved. He must have delivered the message to them, and successfully this time. Because we read in the history of migration of prophets that although they are rejected in the first instance, to the first address, when they address the message to the first people for whom they are raised, they are most often than not rejected. But after the migration, the success follows amazingly, like it happened in the case of Hadhrat Mirza Tahir Ahmed. He migrated to Medina, and the story of Medina was so different from that of Mecca. People have now divided the two eras as to Meccan era and Medinan era. So that should also have happened to the faith of Jesus Christ, and he must have successfully delivered the message, as we also find in many Pali tablets where Jesus is mentioned as a form of Buddha, and the story about Jesus is repeated even to the point of virgin birth. There's so much to it. You know, there is a question which requires such a big answer, but I would like to give opportunity to other guests as well. Okay?
There's still one question.
Yes, please.
According to your answer, that means that Jesus' mother, according to your answers and according to the verse of the Holy Quran, does that mean that Jesus' mother died in Kashmir as well?
What? I couldn't follow this. Anybody would help me? Check it out.
Yeah. According to your answer, it means that Jesus Christ also died in Kashmir.
No, I mean mother, Jesus Christ's mom, Mary.
No, it doesn't follow automatically from my answer. It is a long way from Palestine to Kashmir. And an old mother, like Mary was at that time, might have died on the way, might have buried anywhere on the way. But to a place where the Kashmir territory had started, because both are mentioned to have reached there by the Quran. So very likely the grave of Mary we find in Murray, which is a part of the same hill, mountainous region to which belongs to Kashmir, because it's adjacent to Azad Kashmir and runs into the valley at last. We find a grave of My Mary, which seems to be a grave of pre-Islamic period. And the people who verbally give us the account of that grave also speak of this. So it is very likely that Mary might have got buried in Murray, which is again a part of the same description, if not the same country. Because the Holy Quran didn't say Kashmir, didn't say Himalayas either. The Holy Quran said a place which was mountainous, which abounded in fountains. So if she had reached that place, then the prophecy of the Holy Quran got fulfilled. But maybe it is another Mary. I don't insist it is the same Mary. But there are so many graves of Mary found elsewhere in Kashmir, here and there. So could be she reached the destination with Jesus and got buried there. In fact, the people of the Prophet's time do not pay exceptional homage to the mother's graves, to the Prophet's mother's grave. And perhaps it is against the spirit of unity of God to unnecessarily highlight the mother. So you can see where Rasulullah Akram sallallahu alaihi wasallam is buried and how much emphasis is laid on his grave. But if I ask you where is the grave of Hadhrat Amna and his father, you have to turn the pages of history to discover where they were buried. So it is not important to indicate where the mother is buried. All that is important is where the Prophet himself is buried. And there we have a graveyard by the name of the graveyard of Jews Asaf, on which subject so many books have been written by Ahmadis, but not only Ahmadis. Now the German scholars and some other European, Spanish scholars, some other European scholars and Americans as well have written on this topic. So if you're interested, you can read those books and then you'll know how true we are in our understanding of what happened.
There's still my last question. According to one of the hadith, the Holy Prophets said that, I'm not sure if this is the right, I'm not sure whether this is the right statement.
But you tell me, inshallah I'll remember.
It says, my generation will be similar to those of Jews and Christians, so much so that if one had gone to the hole of a lizard, you too would. Now we all know that
Christians? Did you read Christians?
Yeah, it says that my generation will be similar to those of Jews and the Christians.
It was Jews.
Just only Jews.
Yes.
So much so that if one had gone to the hole of a lizard, you too would. Now we all know that Jews did not believe in their Messiah, which was Jesus Christ. The Muslims did not believe in the promised Messiah as well. Right. Now, my question is, we know that most Christians have taken Jesus Christ as God. So does that mean that this Jumat as well, some people will definitely probably, God forbid, take the promised Messiah as God as well?
I doubt it very much, because I can prove it from the history of the Holy Prophet and the Quran and Islam as such, with reference to the history of Moses and his people. The good things did get repeated in that case, but not all the bad things. For instance, we find mentioned in the Bible as well as in the Quran that the people who believed in Moses reverted to idolatry repeatedly until God became very angry with them. So when the Holy Quran says about Hazrat Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, Kama arsalna ila Fir'auna Rasula, that we have raised you like we raised the Prophet unto Fir'aun. So the similarity is there, but not complete similarity. So many other things of similarity which did not occur. Hazrat Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam was not put into a wooden box and thrown into a river, was he? No. So where is that similarity? And there are so many other things in which similarity no similarity is visible, but the general similarity, which is important, which is essential, is the similarity of Moses bringing a new law, very powerful law, and his success before his death in establishing that law among his own people. This is the most important thing. And then he was made to migrate. That's another feature of the prophets of God. So if these two fundamental similarities can be observed in relation to Hazrat Musa and Hazrat Muhammad Rasulullah, that's quite sufficient. So I don't believe, because God spared Hazrat Muhammad Rasulullah from seeing his ummah turning into idolatry again. So also he would spare, I'm quite certain, his Messiah who will be born in his ummah to see the misery of his people turning him into God. That is why so much stress is laid by Hazrat Masih Maud on unity of God.
Thank you very much.
Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullah.